Yeah, it's a very elegant board. I actually think out of all the boards they've done, this is probably the most elegant. I really like the boards from Kibu. I've never had any problems with them. Kibu has, again and again, just delivered pretty awesome boards. Like, they're very standard, just so everyone knows, but they do it well, and they listen to any feedback that we've given them. They are priced a little bit higher. They typically do like themed keyboards after VTubers and stuff like that. I would say that if you're looking for something with a bit more of a premium-ish design themed around some good stuff, like probably the right things for you here, but I don't know if these are for everyone. So we got screws, we have our PP plate today, which we're using, because I think the goal today is to use hyacinths sent over. Ooh, it's been a little while since I've seen a Fukuro. Ooh, this is a nice color. Look how crazy thin this side bezel is. Are you guys picking that up? Look at that. Look how crazy thin this is, dude. They're giving you some options on how you can mount the plate. Interesting. They've lowered the front height, which is awesome, and the new front height is now 18.5, or if you're going just to the lip, because there's a small lip on this board, it's 15.5, and then lowered the pricing from the original group buy. Weight's about 1.8 kilos built. The PCB is a V2 PCB with a C3 daughter board, via and valve support it. And then you have a few different layouts for what you can do here, including stuff like True HHKB, WinKeyless, and WinKey. We're obviously looking at the WinKey version today. Okay, so this is the new internals of this board. Lowered front height. I do like what they did here. So basically what the Fukuro is offering now is different points in which you can mount the plate. I wonder how that will affect certain sound profiles or softness. Because technically you can just kind of screw it in anywhere. This is actually kind of a neat idea. Why does this feel super high quality? Usually when I get like a PP plate in, it feels kind of cheap, but this feels like really luxurious for some weird reason. But yeah, that's kind of neat. I appreciate this. This is a cool little addition to kind of do with the board, allowing you to kind of mount it wherever. PCB wise, we have decent options, not a crap ton of options, no ISO, but we got split backspace. I would have liked to see maybe a split right or some right shift options. But yeah, and then we have step caps. So there's options here. It's not a crap ton of options. I would have liked to see a little bit more, specifically on the right side of the keyboard over here. But I'd say this is the perfect amount of options for anyone who dabbles with keyboards on the regular. It's a 1.6mm PCB. We're using polypropylene today, and then hyacinths, which have been lubed. But then here's the bottom of this board too. Again, we've seen the Fukuro before. It is very classy looking. I like the little flower kind of thing going on this. It's very delicate. It's very soft. I even like the border around the weight over here. And then in terms of just some cool parts, which you can kind of look at. Yeah, it's a very elegant board. I actually think out of all the boards they've done, this is probably the most elegant. Here's that side profile. You got that beautiful kind of curve that goes around here, even just a little lip that goes underneath. They did a really good job with just making the side profile visually interesting as well. And then got a very, very subtle lip on the front over here too. You can even see just how this curves in. Again, nothing over the top. We have bump on feet, you know, your standard copper weight. It's a pass-through weight, so these are my favorite ones because I find they sound the absolute best. Big chunkiness on the inside over here. And then it kind of just passes through to something smaller, so it sits on the inside. I'd still think the only thing in which I'm still not like the biggest fan of is the hidden screw design, but I understand why they do that. This is to also help reduce some of the front height. My only gripe with HMX switches is they do not cling on well to the PCB. So for this, I'm gonna have to solder a few and just kind of like push it through. I just wish they'd fix that. If they fix that one small tolerance problem with the legs for these would be these would be perfect. Okay, for the top mount, by the way, I like what they did here. I like how far away these posts are from the stabilizers as well. I think what I want to do, there's a small part of me that wants to do just these four corners, but I also just kind of want to do standard and put it right in the middle. But I mean, there's tons of ways we can customize this. I don't think I'm gonna possibly do every combination here today, but I do like this ideology of having freedom to kind of put the screws wherever you want. So this is pretty cool. Also, these switches look fantastic. This looks so nice. I do like, this is a very welcome change, by the way. I think this kind of adds some customizability to the board. I feel like if we go to the ends, it'll be softer, and if we go right into the middle, it'll be stiffer. Or sorry, right to the end. Like this end will be stiffer, this end will be softer. Okay, actually the only thing maybe that I would probably want from this is just I was gonna say maybe a bit of a larger channel for the cable, but it seems like it fits fine. Just need to adjust it a bit. I haven't used taro in a long time. I feel like taro would look nice on this. So, this is the Fukuro, round 2. Some internal changes, as you guys saw. Lower front height, which is also a good thing. And then these are going to be HMX Hyacinth's V2Us on a PP plate. And the mounting points we chose to use were the center ones and all the different posts. Okay, so here's the crazy part. I was actually doubting these switches because I was like, man, isn't this going to be too loud for a top mount? And it is loud. But I'm happy to say that at least this feels really good. I would even say that this doesn't feel empty, and that's sometimes what happens with HMX switches. It's very nice. Like, it's very full sounding as well. So this is the other Fukuro. Oh yeah, so that is lowered by a lot. I don't know if you guys can tell that, but that is lowered by quite a bit. Looks by like a millimeter or two, which is a lot, by the way. And I don't think there's any other differences other than the internals being different and then the front height being lowered. Like, the big call out for this is, I really appreciate what they did with the plate. I also really like the fact this is a pass-through weight. So I think that's going to also make this sound really good. But I think this is a fantastic sounding keyboard. This sounds really good. It also looks good, and I actually really like the front height change as well. Again, pricing, mileage may vary with that. Can you buy keyboards that are cheaper than this? Absolutely. Do you want this particular design? Yeah, I mean, I don't really see a whole lot of budget boards, or even boards that are sub $200 have extremely thin side bezels. That's just something people aren't doing, and I think this looks absolutely lovely with this. One call out I will say, very minor call out here. The white plates here, I would have preferred a black plate. I think they just make the board look more clean and professional, opposed to having, you know, white plates go through some of the darker keycaps. And that's something I'm going to message Kibu about. I don't know, I've been finding this a lot lately. I've been kind of turned off by white plates, or even just anything light colored or bright, basically. It just feels cheap. And I would have preferred an all black plate. But to not let that take away from the sound profile at all, like, it's amazing. It's full everywhere. Never really thought much about plate colors. I've noticed it on some boards, like, you know what I mean, Durian, where I'm just like, yeah, I guess this looks weird, but even on this, like, I can tell with these particular caps because they're darker on the mods, and it makes me go, oh, I wish this was just black, because, like, this is kind of where the shadows hit, and that's how it could look. It kind of looks like this from the top down, and this is kind of what I see even myself here. Sounds really full for HMX. I agree, and that just makes me wonder how would this sound like with cherry switches. But overall, happy with the small changes. I hope they do well in their group buy. I've always liked Kibu stuff. I think they're fantastic. By the way, I'm not keeping any of these. You guys have a great rest of your days. Love you. Bye, and see you guys tomorrow. Later.